Hey everybody, how's it going? This is Blue Hair Dave. I'm super excited for this right now. Mike, here's my claim for you on this. I'm certain that if you learn and understand everything in this video over the next hour or so, that you could open up a Facebook ads agency tomorrow if you wanted, or run Facebook ads to make money online, to do anything you want with Facebook ads, to collect leads, to get traffic to something you're selling for e-commerce. Anything like that. I'm very confident after you watch this, you'll be able to do it. So just make sure you watch, understand the whole thing, stop, rewind, go over, but watch the whole thing, watch it twice, watch it 3 times, and you're going to get everything you need to know. Things are a lot easier than they were just 2 years ago. So everything from 2020 onwards, there's a lot easier way to use Facebook ads. It's not nearly as complicated as it used to be, okay? I use Facebook ads to propel my company past 7 figures. I've used Facebook to win a 2 Comma Club award with ClickFunnels. I've used Facebook ads to get hundreds and thousands, well, I guess millions of email subscribers on my lists, okay? And I'm able to do it to a point where I can not only break even if I'm collecting email addresses, because I make a lot of the money on the back end, most people do, but I actually make a profit on the front end while collecting emails. So I'm actually able to offset my ad spend. I'm gonna go into the Facebook ads technique, the actual Facebook advertising, how to set it up, how to get going. Do not be afraid, do not be overwhelmed. I'm gonna show you everything you need right here. So I'm gonna cut the crap out of and just show you the nitty gritty that you need. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this campaign and get into the breakdown.
Subscribe.
Perfect.
All right, so we're gonna jump right in here, learning Facebook ads, right? So from beginning to expert in 1 hour, Facebook is not as daunting as it used to be. And there's so many different ways to utilize it, but you really don't need to use a lot of the stuff anymore because you're not going to outsmart Facebook's automated intelligence or artificial intelligence. Okay, so a lot of people are under the impression that they're going to do a bunch of different tricks, and I'm going to show you what I use, which every time I test it compared to trying to fill out a bunch of interest and everything, Facebook almost always wins. And I'm going to just show you how placing a Facebook pixel can help that. But first, let's start an overview in case you've never used Facebook before. I'm going to show you this, and you might want to skip ahead a little bit if you're like a Facebook ad expert, but because if you're watching this, it's probably from beginning to expert in 1 hour. Even if you are an expert, it's worth watching. And I just got this on this view screen here so I can have a little bit of some photographs to show you. So Facebook does things in a level where, and I'm going to go into Facebook and actually do some stuff, but I just want to explain to you like with the campaign levels and stuff. So there's 3 different levels. The top level is campaign, and I'm going to explain what each of these does. Then below, inside the campaign level, there are ad sets. You can have multiple ad sets in a campaign level, and inside the ad set, you have ads. And ads are, where the stuff with the words and all that fun stuff. And so the top level is the campaign. And you can have multiple ad sets, like I just said, within a campaign, and each ad set can have many ads. The ad set is where you dial in your detailed targeting to show your ads to people who want to see it. And then the ad, of course, is what you actually see in your feed and on Instagram or on the ads on the side of Facebook with pictures, words, and videos and all that fun stuff. So it's pretty basic. Top is campaign, and inside there's ad sets and ads. And now it could look like this, and this doesn't get too confusing, hopefully, but you can have, say you have a campaign. I like to do 1, 2, 3 ad sets. I like to compare some of the stuff with these. And then I will have different ads in here, 3 to 6 usually, because I might have a different picture and a different headline and a different picture with a couple different headlines and different ones. And then I can see which ones do better than the others. Okay. So, and Facebook will help you weed these out. They kind of automate that. They might send a lot of traffic to one ad, and they know that this one's getting the clicks, this one's getting clicks, this one's getting clicks, and these 3 are not doing well. Maybe because the picture is played out, or people don't like it, or it doesn't really associate with what your message is. And messaging, I'll get to this, is very important with your Facebook ads. And they'll just stop sending traffic to it after a day or 2. and they won't even attempt it because it just kind of doesn't work, and they'll turn it off for you in a roundabout way. Or they'll cycle through. There's also new features in Facebook, which I'll kind of get into when I just do the setup here, that explain that they kind of will even judge which ad set does better, which one's giving you whatever you want for cheaper. And that's the cool thing about Facebook ads now compared to what it was 3-4 years ago or 2 years ago even, is that it will find you what you want if you tell it to. And I'll get into the specifics of that. So with targeting in Facebook, targeting is who is going to see your ad. Do you want to show this to? Do you want to show it to the whole country in the United States? Do you want to show it to everybody who's got Facebook in the whole world? You can do that. And with targeting, you can also make your own custom audience. And this is where it gets a lot better for you, because you can really dig down into who do I want to show things to. So you can track who watched and who didn't, who looked at a video, and how much of a video did they watch on Facebook of yours in an ad that you put. Did they go to your website? Have they interacted with your website previously? Have they done it 30 days ago or 90 days ago? Have they not visited in 90 days? You can have an email list. Say you've already have a business up and running, and you've got an email list of people who have purchased your products. You can, or use your services. You can import that email list, and Facebook will target just those people, or you can make a lookalike audience of people that are very similar to the email list. And by similar, what I mean is that they are similar to the list of customers that you have with data points. And so there might be a certain age group or demographic or interests that they all have in common, or they come from a certain part of the country or a certain state or a certain income level or whatever it is. Facebook knows everything about everybody on Facebook. That's how they make so much money. The Zuckerberg knows all this stuff, and they're going to match these data points with other data points that your customers have, and then find people who are just like them for you. And you can decide whether it's 1 million people, 2 million people. You can decide whether it's 10 million people, 20 million people. Now, there's something to keep in mind with targeting on Facebook that some people fail to speak about when they're doing these tutorials, I've found. The thing is that the smaller you get with your audience, it costs more to advertise to them. And so you got to be careful about that. Also, Facebook kind of already knows these data points, and they're going to give you who you want as long as you tell them the event type, which I will get into later with these videos as I start going through stuff. And also with targeting, you can target because there's a thing called a tracking pixel, and I'll show you what this is in a little bit, of course, but I just want to give you the terminology down so that we know what we're talking about when we're going through Facebook. The pixel is a piece of code that is on your website, and it's pretty easy to place. They make it real simple, and I'll walk through that with you. And it'll track anybody who came from Facebook that visits your page. They'll know, and they'll say, hey, here's this guy. Here's this guy. We know where he is. And they don't even have, and so Google Analytics does this. That's why you ever notice when you visit a website or look at something or even talk about it on your phone, and then all of a sudden for the next week, you've got ads. Like you were like, oh, I need a plumber. I'm going to look for a plumber. And then the next thing you know, there's like a bunch of plumber ads everywhere you go on the internet. Okay, that's because there's pixels placed. Now, Google places them, other companies place them, Facebook will place them. You can do the same thing if you're tracking people on Facebook. So you can track people. You can track people who travel through Facebook to visit your site, people who just visit your site, people that watch part of videos that you have in your ads, people that do something on your website. You can track leads, visitors, buyers, etc. In essence, what you're tracking is, you could say you're just collecting an email from somebody. You just you want to give them something, and because I do a lot of this, my functioning. And by the way, if you want to learn more, there's a whole bunch of stuff underneath this with free trainings on other things. You can see how I utilize Facebook for my day job. I also teach people internet marketing, but I do my own brand of internet marketing as my day job. So I'm not like just somebody who teaches internet marketing. That's a small part of my business plan. The majority of what I do is actually doing stuff, what I teach people. So I'm actually advertising on Facebook, growing huge email lists. And I grow I've got huge lists. When I got my 2 Comma Club award, I grew a list of 640,000 people, all from Facebook. I didn't pay a dime for the Facebook subscribers eventually. I actually made a profit collecting them, and I made a bunch of money afterwards with email marketing to them. And I got 640,000 plus people in like 5 months. It was maybe just short of 5 months. It was like 4 to 6 months. Crazy, right? So you can really build up a lot of potential customers or leads. So if you collect an email list, I highly recommend building an email list. And so there's a bunch of links underneath this. Click on them, use all the free stuff, and just sign up. I got lead magnets. I got all kinds of, I got charts. I got whatever. So look down there. There's a whole bunch of resources, and you'll be glad you looked at them. And so I like to collect leads because it's the earliest touch you can have. It's early on. So if somebody signs up and you're like, okay, here's a lead, they don't have to buy anything. They just get a free exchange of information from me, and you might have signed up for one of my things, and then now you're on my email list, and I'll send you tips and tutorials, and then one day you might decide you want to buy something from me, right? That's it. So if you have a store or a restaurant or you're selling e-commerce, whatever it is, if people are interested in unicorns and you're the unicorn salesperson, right? You can get people who are interested in unicorn memorabilia. They might not buy something from you, but now you got a list in case they decide to buy something. You might stumble upon the coolest unicorn, whatever in the planet, universe ever existed. And then you send an email out and be like, I got these for sale now. These are the craziest thing. They're like, oh, I want that unicorn hat or unicorn t-shirt, whatever it is. So it doesn't cost you really to email them, which is the best part about email. So I like to collect leads. It can just be a visitor. It could be somebody who buys something. It could be somebody who adds something to a cart and then abandons it. And then you can send an ad out that says, hey, you left without buying it. Would you like an extra 15% off? I mean, that's how you really make the big bucks, is by retargeting and remarketing. Okay, that's where you make the big money, is people who maybe are already a customer or who are familiar with you. They watched your video. So maybe say I had an ad on Facebook and it was a Facebook ads tutorial. And I know that you watched half of my video, or you visited the page and you made it to that you were interested in something, but you didn't pull the trigger on it, right? And then I can send an ad and I don't have to reintroduce myself and all that because I know that you're familiar with me or my product that I'm selling or the unicorns. And then I just say, hey, did you forget to buy the unicorn? Why didn't you want to buy the unicorns? Check out the unicorns. How about a discount for the unicorns? And then people go, yeah. And that pushes them over the I don't want to buy it right now to the, well, I guess I'll buy it right now. And so retargeting is where people make most of their money. If you can break even on the first round of Facebook advertising, you're in a winner's seat. You have a successful business model. People don't realize this. They miss the big picture. So always keep that in mind, that retargeting is where you're going to make the money, and you have to place your pixel properly. It's super simple. You don't need tech experience. I failed my college computer course. I failed it once, and then I took it the second time, and I had to withdraw because I was going to fail it again. Okay, so I'm not a computer expert. Then I finally got like a C the third time I took it. It was a prerequisite. So I'm not a computer expert. What I am is a marketing expert, and I stumbled upon that by accident. I'm a regular dude just like you. Never thought I would even get into digital marketing, and then when I got into it, I've been doing it like over 13 years. It totally changed my life, and I learned it real quick. And you don't have to be the brightest person in the planet to learn all this. Trust me. Okay. If I can do it, you can do it. I know you can. So with targeting, there's an event code that can go in there as well. It's part of like a pixel. It's part of the pixel. And you can tell Facebook what events that you want to track, which is very important because you can put these codes on certain parts of your page. And like I was saying, it's just a little snippet of code, and I'll show you what it is and how to put it onto a web page. So you can know if they bought something and they didn't just visit. You know if they filled out a form and gave you a lead. You know what part of your sales funnel they might have gotten into. You know what page they looked at, what type of product that they were looking at. You can track events for all this stuff. Okay. And so the best part about this is they don't even have to buy anything. They just visited your website. You understand? And now you can make a similar audience of these people. So somebody went 3 pages deep in your sales funnel, or they looked at these 2 products. Now you can make an ad just for those types of products. Maybe you're selling t-shirts or something that there's dogs and cats. And this person went to the dog pictures. Now they're a dog fan. You don't need to show them cat ads anymore. You need to show them dog ads. So then this. You can save time. You can save money because you put the event code in. Refinance is an example. You might put a pixel, the event code, and if you're doing like I like to do financial leads because people don't have to actually buy anything for you to get a lot of money. In affiliate marketing, they pay anywhere from $36 to $48 or more for a refinance lead. Somebody just says, I want a quote, from Quicken Loans or whatever. And if they have good or excellent credit, they'll pay you a bunch of money. They won't pay you money usually if it's poor or bad credit. So what you can do is have an ad on Facebook that's like a survey kind of, and it'll say, how would you rate your credit? And one of the things is good or excellent. And if they check that, those are the people you need to remarket. The people that say poor, whatever, you don't remarket those people again. And in fact, what you'll tell is you'll make a similar audience, a lookalike audience, which we'll talk about, and exclude those people. Because you don't want to advertise to people who have poor credit because they're not going to be able to get what you're trying to sell. So targeting has a lot of different applications, and there's an event code. So that's the best part about digital marketing. You put a billboard up, nobody knows who saw it and called it. It's very hard to track. That's why old media is just getting crushed by digital marketing. It's why a guy like me can sit in his home office here in the studio, spend a couple hours a day, and probably get seen by more people each day than the San Diego Union Tribune, which is my local newspaper because I live in San Diego, California. It's crazy that a guy like me can get more people to look at something than an established newspaper that's been around for 100 years or whatever it is. Okay? It's possible. So, moving on. When you start, let's get into the nitty gritty here. So when you sign up, you want to get what's called an ad account, and you should get more accounts set up. You want to set up what's called a business manager. Now you can just start advertising right away on your personal ad account on Facebook. I'm not going to go into super detail about this because they've got instructions to follow, and you just Google, how do I set up an ad account on Facebook? But I am going to show you the Facebook Business Manager. I have a little link here. Oh, by the way, I'll probably have a link down below if you want the copy of these slides. Go ahead and find the link for that, and then I will email you these slides so that you can review all this stuff on your own and kind of look at it or print it out, put it on your wall if you want to, as you're learning Facebook ads as you go through this. Once you go through it a couple times, you're going to say, I got this, Dave. I got this. All right, so I would say open up multiple accounts right away because Facebook can be a little bit weird on accounts. And you might have heard stories where the accounts get shut down. You have zero idea why they get shut down. All it takes is one competitor to make a weird complaint that doesn't even have a reason. And then boom, there you go. So I would open up multiple accounts, and that's just the way it goes. It doesn't matter if you're selling charms for grandma or whatever. It's just the way it goes. But don't be scared. Open up a bunch of different accounts under the business manager. And so if we go to the business manager, let me go. I'm going to go right here right now. And let's see. So we got business manager. This is what it looks like. You go to this link. It said type in Facebook Business Manager, and it'll basically walk you through getting started. And by the way, in case you didn't know, when you're advertising on Instagram, you use the same interface. So it's Facebook and Instagram. And you can choose. Do I want to do Instagram? Do I want to do Facebook? And you can choose all that. So it'll tell you what to do, how to do it. But basically what a business manager does is it gives you the overreaching, you can have different accounts. Say you have to manage, you can open up like a bunch of them, and you want to keep them all separated. And you've got a customer, say you're going to start a Facebook ad agency, which is how most people utilize this. Because once you understand Facebook ads, you take the time, watch my tutorial, do some practice runs yourself, spend $5 a day or whatever it is. You can start making ads for other people. They will pay you for this service because they have zero idea how to do it. If you're watching this right now, you might have zero idea, but it's going to be a little bit easier than you think. And somebody who's running a busy business doesn't have time to learn marketing, but you do. So maybe you want an ad agency. I don't run an ad agency necessarily. I do private runs for people, and I have relationships with people, and I don't like to go have knocking on doors. My thing is I don't want to have to call people and like try and sign them up for business. I want people chasing me. And as an affiliate marketer and a publisher, That's what happens, because I know how to get traffic. And if you do Facebook ads the right way, you'll be the guy with the power of having traffic. You'll be the person that everybody needs if you know how to run Facebook ads the right way. So that's why you're watching this. Keep watching it. So the Facebook Ads Business Manager lets you have a bunch of little accounts inside. The easier to organize them, and you can open them up. So just go there, you set that up, do it ASAP. Okay. So we're going to show you a custom audiences overview, and a lookalike audiences overview, and I'm going to review the lookalike area. And let me go ahead and let me see what we got here. I'm going to show you. All right, AdSets. There we go. So there's a page. Let me slide this on over. Or you can figure out what kind of custom audience you want to make. All right. There's a place called Audience Insights, and I'll just kind of put this in the middle of the screen here. And you can type in whatever you want and find something. So you can type in an interest and be like unicorns. All right. So I'm going to find unicorn. Don't even know the last unicorn. Unicorn kid. I don't even know what that is. All right. What's this? So we got unicorn and unicorn kid. Shocker. It's mostly women, right? 79% of women, 24% of men are into unicorns. And this will tell you a lot of this stuff. It's really crazy, because you can see the relationship status, married. So married women. Now, if you're putting out ads for unicorns, unicorn related memorabilia, whatever it is, you're probably going to target, just by looking at this real quick, and this is why it's great, probably going to target married women married, the ages of, I'm surprised that's not bigger. I think it's because young people don't use Facebook as much. Age 25 to 44. And the rest of it's, why bother, right? So it looks like that a large portion of people that have a college degree like unicorns. Interesting. And it tells you everything from like what jobs they work in, admin services and sales seem to be the two big ones. You can look at this however you like. Let's see what pages people like. Let's get rid of Unicorn Kid. Let's see what that does. Yeah, it's about the same. So page likes, it'll even tell you what people that, Ooh La Llama, all recipes. Chic Soul, the Mint Julep Boutique. It talks about who people like, Judging the Jenkins, Tiffany Jenkins, the crazy coupon lady, Shut the Front Door, Spend with Pennies. So these are people, I guess they like coupon sites and unicorns, but this gives you an idea of what people are into. And there's so much information here. You can get lost in here and have a lot of fun. That's what the cool thing about Facebook ads is you can kind of get lost in all this stuff. I don't know what this is. Kind of scared to open it and see what it is, but Ooh La Llama, I guess. Oh, it's kids' clothes. It looks like. Okay. So maybe if you could target Ooh La Llama people and unicorns, and maybe you'll have a winning recipe there. Maybe I just gave away a secret. Okay. So that's kind of cool. You can see all kinds of stuff with they got, oh my. Okay. So it'll talk about locations, top cities. So unicorns are very popular in Denver and Wayne County, Michigan, and Duval County. Interesting. Did you know that? I did not. They have the countries, languages, English, activity. Let's see what else they have here. But this gives you an idea of who you can target to create a custom audience if you want, and who to target once we get to this section. I just want to show you this because Audience Insights is very powerful, and it can really help you out. They like to comment and post, and they click on ads. Unicorn people click on ads. That is good. Most of these people, you can even see, look, this is because the pixels are placed, right? Most of the people use an iPhone, and then there's Androids. Most of them are mostly on mobile, but these are industry kind of wide. Most people surf the internet on their mobile phones now. And so people are comfortable buying things on mobile. They weren't 5-6 years ago, but now they are. So this doesn't really make that much of a difference anymore. But you want to make sure that whatever you're selling has a page that looks good on mobile. Don't forget that pro tip. All right. So that's what audience insights are all about. And you can really target really good with that. And so then if you want to create a lookalike audience, I am going to go ahead and dial that up right now. We're going to look at, show you what how a lookalike audience could work. So you get to, you go to the audience area, and you can create a custom audience, create a lookalike audience. Now, a lookalike audience, if you have data, you can upload some data here, create a new source or something, and you can upload data if you want. Say you have an email list, and then you say, where's the location? You type in the country that you want it to be. So this could be, once you create sources, there's a whole bunch. It depends on like if somebody visited a certain website of yours, a URL, whatever it is that you had in there, a custom audience. But an email list is a really good one, because that's why building email lists is so important, because if you build a big email list up, then you are stoked because you can make lookalike audiences from them. So if you get 5,000 people, you can make that into an audience that might be 1 million, 2 million people that are very similar without getting 2 million people on an email list, even though it would be awesome to have 2 million people on that email list. So you just say you upload the email list, and then you tell, I want it to be the United States. And then you tell it, do I want to be 1% of the country percentage size, which is, it might be around 2 million people all the way up to 10. Now, the lower it is down here is more accurate. You can make a whole bunch of ones where it splits this up into a bunch of different parts. For lookalike audience, you can select a different country. So maybe you have an audience in the United States and you want to find a similar audience in France or the UK. If you're selling English-speaking items, or maybe you want to translate your stuff into Spanish and then sell in Mexico, because the cost of advertising in developing countries is a lot cheaper than it is in developed countries. So Canada, the United States, Australia, the UK are expensive, but Mexico, India, the Philippines is very inexpensive. Now, you have to also keep in mind that there's not enough, people don't make as much money. So a t-shirt might be somebody's whole day earnings in one of these countries. So you got to think about that when you're doing the ads. But another tip is to, if you want social proof and you want a lot of people to like an ad or to comment or to get people excited about it, because if somebody goes and there's only 2 people that looked at it or made a comment or did a thumbs up, then they might not treat it as seriously or trust it. But if you, for a fraction of the cost, are able to get 1,000 people to like it and 100 comments on it, maybe these are from countries, you could say only English speaking people, but there's a lot of English speaking people in the Philippines and in India and other developing countries where you can get people to interact, and then you build more trust for whatever it is you're trying to sell in your Facebook ads. So that's a nice little tip there. So you can create a lookalike audience in different countries, and then you just hit create audience. That's it. Facebook does it for you. Now, if you've already run some traffic and you've got other audiences that you created, and you can make audiences that are broader, or maybe you want to refine it and make it smaller, you just adjust this to what you want it to be. And so when it does it like with 5, you can be like, oh, I want this to be a 1%. And then this will be a little bit bigger of a list and a little bit not as refined. And then you might say, Dave, why do I want to do this if it's not as refined? Well, the larger the audience is, the cheaper it is to advertise to them. So in a perfect world, if you advertise to everybody in the planet, it's so much cheaper. And the reason, or say in the United States. So a lot of people are going to advertise to people in the United States because people in the United States like to buy things. There's a lot of customer information on them. And people in the United States make a lot of money comparatively to everybody else in the world. Other countries make lots of money too, but I'm just saying the United States is like a prime advertising area. So people that live in other countries also want to advertise to people in the United States. Somebody who's sending some scam email Nigeria or whatever, asking money for the prince, he's not sending that to other people in Nigeria, right? He's sending it to Americans because, oh, I'll send you $300, right? Because they have $300 to send somebody or whatever to wire the money to them. So Americans have disposable income. Even in hard times, Americans have a lot of disposable income still. So if you advertise to all 356 million people, whatever it is in the United States, it's a lot cheaper than advertising to somebody who lives in, say, San Diego County, California, where there's like 3 million people. So the 3 million, and the reason is because in Facebook, you're competing for somebody's eyeballs looking at a screen. Now, if you say there's only 3 million people to choose from compared to 350 million, it's more expensive, especially if you're trying to scale, because you're competing against somebody else who only wants to advertise in that area. So I like to do things that are nationwide. Once again, why I like affiliate marketing, and I like to do offers that will do it nationwide. But typically, like say something for solar leads, people who do advertising solar leads, they pay more for states that are harder to get. That's the way supply and demand works. Capitalism. The harder something is to get, the more somebody's going to pay you to get it. This is why digital marketing is worth so much, and somebody can make so much money. Somebody can make $300 a day, $1,000 a day, $3,000 a day, $10,000 a day. I'm not making any claims here, but what I'm saying is that it's not crazy for somebody to make $300 worth of leads for somebody, and you might do it on $50 ad spend. It might cost you $100 ad spend. You still made $200 profit 7 days a week kind of thing. Or maybe it cost you $10 in ads, or maybe you spent the money on ads. Now you have an email list that you never have to really pay to send these things out again, except for the small charge of the email service provider, and you're bringing in $300 to $500 a day, or $1,000 a day, or $100 extra a day. The amount really doesn't matter. What I'm saying is that because you can reach the people that need to be reached, and then if they fill out a form or buy something, it's a lot more pinpointed, and I love it. It's digital marketing. So you create the lookalike audience, and that's all there is to that. And we're going to move on here to the next area. Whoa, where'd I go? Booyah. All right, so we did the lookalike audience, and now we're going to review lookalike area. We just did that, so we're going to move on here and look at the campaigns. And I'm actually going to do a campaign and explain everything step by step, and we're going to just kind of create it, and I'm going to explain what I'm thinking, what all the little different parts are that are involved in it, and I'm going to bring that screen up right now. All right, so here we are. It's a pretty simple interface. I'm going to make my page a little smaller. Bloop. So you can see more of it. It's not all that important to see the whole thing because it's all in the middle of the page here. But you'll read at this page, and it's for campaigns. When you go to make an ad, we're just going to say, create an ad. When you hit create an ad, you'll end up at this page. And I want to start over here. So we're just going to choose a create new campaign. And it's just going to give you choices here. And these choices are, let's explain it now. There's a whole bunch of different things you can think of. So there's brand awareness. You're just going to choose one of these when you start. And I'm going to show you which one almost always I go with. There's brand awareness, which is, hey, let's announce your stuff. I rarely use that because here's the thing with Facebook. They're going to give you what you ask for. And if you ask for brand awareness, you know what you're not going to get? Conversions, probably. Okay? Facebook has buckets. And these buckets are groups of people that they know have certain behaviors, just like all the other things that they have boiled down. They know people who are never going to fill something out, but they will look at it and review it, maybe watch a video, and read. These are kind of the same thing. These are kind of like, hey, spend money and don't get much for it. Put a skywriter in the sky, right? Maybe you'll get a sale, but they could care less if you get a sale. So Facebook's going to show you those people. It'll be cheaper probably, but they're going to show you people that probably have little to small chance of ever filling out your stuff. In my opinion, this has been in my experience and most everybody I talk to, right? So kind of we stick towards over these things, right? But the other options are there's traffic. That means somebody's visiting your website or clicking to your website. There's engagement. People are, and they explain them right here. A little exclamation says, if you want likes for your stuff, People comment and like and things like that. It's engagement with whatever it is your ad is, because essentially an ad is really a Facebook post that is sponsored. And you want to use this method instead of posting for a bunch of different reasons, for boosting, because you have so many more options right here. But they kind of made everything similar. So when you're setting up the ad, you're just going to look at these different things. So if you just want clicks to your website and you maybe don't want a conversion, you probably want a conversion, then you would click traffic. Or you just want engagement and you don't want conversions, then click engagement. If you want app installs because you've got an app or whatever it is, or you just want video views, people that watch videos, then do this. Lead generation is where they keep it inside Facebook. These tend to cost a little less, but they tend to have a much lower reach rate. One of the main reasons is that a lot of people signed up for Facebook in 2008. That's a long time ago now. And if they signed up in 2008 or 2010 or 2012, they might have a completely different email that they use at this point. So they're not using their AOL address anymore. They're using their Gmail now. And so this tends to go to the one that the Facebook, there's a whole bunch of reasons. The other reason is this too. If they're signing us up, you want to make sure that you collect these leads, because Facebook is finicky and you're on their ecosystem. Your whole business is going to depend on what Facebook is doing. You want to get those emails and those people off their ecosystem and to your website. I can't impress that up. You want them in your ecosystem, not theirs. And their job is to keep you in their ecosystem, which is why they offer these different things like lead generation. Now, conversions is for the event type. You could put a pixel. I'm going to show you how to set the pixel, but remember the pixel, how it tracks things? So you could tell this pixel that, say you want to just collect an email lead and then offer to sell something right after you collect the email lead, which is kind of what I do. You might say, hey, unicorn people, I've got this list of the most fascinating emails or most fascinating things about unicorns and discounts on unicorn items. Send a PDF that has all this information about unicorns, whatever it is. Whether it's refinances or it's what 10 tips homeowners need or how homeowners can get tax breaks, whatever it is you're going to send these people, give me your email address and I'll email it to you. If I track for the people filling out those leads, I just tell Facebook to send me only people that give me their email address. Give me people who buy the t-shirt. Give me people who click add to cart in the for my t-shirt that I'm selling or whatever it is you're selling your product. People that are interested in learning about my course, people that gave me their email address to take a free class. Tell Facebook that you want those people and they're going to do everything they can to give it to you. And the best part about that is, and let me explain a big thing right now. Pay attention, put the woohoo hat on and make a big note. Get the conversion pretty early in your area so that you can have enough of these, because Facebook has to have enough information to learn. Facebook's going to give you those. So if you say, I want people in the United States that convert for this email lead, maybe it's like people that give you an email. They go to a landing page and they give you an email address, which is the simplest way to do it. You don't need to do all the searching and maybe pick kind of a close age range, but you don't need to find 15 interests and whittle down your audience to 2 million people. Facebook's going to know how to do this, and they're going to charge you less if you just tell it to do everybody in the United States that's a certain age range, or male or female. The larger your audience, the cheaper it is. The more interests that you choose and target, the more expensive your ads are going to be, the more expensive your impressions are going to be on Facebook. This wasn't the case 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6, 7, 8 years ago. You had to target yourself pretty much. You don't have to do that anymore. Just tell it to choose a conversion and you're good to go for the most part. Now, if you have a $100 product and you tell it to convert only for people that buy the $100 product, you better be spending a ton of money in order to get those conversions. But if you tell it to, if you have just a simple thing on the second page, like learn more about this, click here, and they go to the second page, that's kind of good enough, because those are people that are at least interested in what you had to say. And Facebook can get those people cheaper. And then at that point, it's your job to sell them. Facebook got you the people that were interested. It's your job to sell them at that point. And there might be enough diversity. If you catch them early in your funnel, there's enough diversity where you don't miss a lot of people that might otherwise buy your product if you were to narrow down. Like maybe men buying unicorn items, even though it said mostly women, maybe the 25% of men or whatever that are into unicorns buy more than the women do. You don't know that until you test. They might be hardcore unicorn fans with a lot more money. Boom, they're buying everything they see with unicorns for their unicorn lair. Maybe I've got a secret unicorn lair back here. Who knows, right? But you don't know, right? So you want to target like that. So tell it to target for conversions. If you ask for traffic, you're probably just going to get traffic. If you ask for brand awareness, you're probably just going to get people that see an ad and scroll on by. That's my opinion. People have different techniques. This is what I do, but I've been doing it for 13 years plus now. I give talks on this. I travel to talk to people and teach them this around the country. So that's what works for me. Okay. So if I choose conversions, I want to do conversions. We're going to do conversions. You name your campaign, whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't really matter. You can name it. Let's just do unicorn test. Okay. And daily budget, $100. No, let's just start at $5. And there's an explanation why I want to tell you why to do that. I set my budget small when I set it up. First of all, so I don't make a mistake and then launch something at $100 a day. Realize that I launched it and totally screwed up campaign, and I only realize it after I see I got charged $1,000 on my Amex business card. Right? I don't want to do that. So let's put $5 a day, and we'll go back and change that later. That's a good tip, so you don't lose a bunch of money. Because guess what? Facebook's not going to do if you spend $1,000 by accident. They're not going to refund that money. Okay. So, and so we're going to go set up ad account, and let's go ahead, and it's going to ask you to set up your ad account, and you got to fill in a bunch of information, basically where you're at, what's this, their name, and then it gets you to this page. Like, you have to put payment information and all that stuff in, but that's self-explanatory. So it's going to tell you, where do you want it to go? What kind of conversion do you want? Okay. You want a conversion, and it's going to tell you to set up a pixel so that you know what kind of conversion you want to have. Now, this might be a good time to talk about the pixel. And let's go ahead and look at the pixel page here. So if you want to go ahead and create a pixel, you just say create a pixel, and it's going to bring you to this page. It's real simple. You say create a pixel. You name it whatever you want. You can enter your website if you want, and I'm going to show you kind of how to do it real quick. I choose this manual, add pixel code to your website. This is the code. This is it. This is it. Okay. You put your cursor here. It says copy to clipboard. Put it in a text file, whatever it is. Save it. This is going to go on your page. Now, I'm going to show you right now what I do for ClickFunnels. I use ClickFunnels. I got a link for a 14-day trial below if you want to try it out, because it's a lot easier than using WordPress. But whatever you're using, WordPress is easier to use now than it used to be. Whatever you're using for your website, I like ClickFunnels just because I'm even wearing a shirt, just because they make the most comfortable shirts. They send me a shirt when you sign up. They used to. It's super comfy. So what you want to do is you just copy this, and let me go ahead to my ClickFunnels page. Let me bring that up real quick. Okay, so I got a little test tutorial thing in here. Okay, and one of my ClickFunnels accounts that I have. And it's real simple. It's just an email opt-in page with a template. It's just a little template thing so I can explain where to put the pixel. There's a settings area right here. Okay. The pixel, you copy it right here. You put it right here. You paste, and then you hit save. Okay, that's it. Now, every step you add in here in your funnel, every single page you add to your funnel, your website, your funnel, whatever it is, okay, that is going to fire a pixel. It'll know when it visits any of these pages, okay? And it'll also give you the idea to continue if you want to do any kind of event, okay? So you can tell it that you want to have a certain page on a website to create an event. There's also different events that, let's see what we got here. You can tell it what page you want to do. When you're first set up, it'll say it hasn't got any information, but give it an hour and visit your page once or twice, and it'll have information. It'll know that it's live. So you can send up, like, I wanted to visit my thank you page, and then you kind of put this in here. But there's a whole bunch of preset events for pixels that are in here that are already set up, and it's a lot easier to use those. So I'll use one that's called lead, and it's this little pixel piece. It's a little snippet to put in. If you go to add an event code and it's this manual, they have ones that already come in here. So there's view content, somebody searched for something, they added to a wish list, add to cart, initiate checkout. Now, if you're using Shopify, it's a real easy way to integrate these. There's a little thing that tells you about it. Now, there's to subscribe for a product or service you ordered. More events. There's all kinds of ones that are in here. There's a lead. I like to use a lead because it's when somebody puts it in. That's just what I use. And you literally just copy. See how this is a snippet, okay? Now, you put the event on the page that needs to happen. So I'm going to copy this right now just so I have it on my clipboard. Copy to clipboard. Now, when I'm on my ClickFunnels, say somebody visits my funnel and they go to the first page and I say, join the waiting list or whatever it is that happens. After they hit submit, and I'm not going to teach you ClickFunnels right now, that's a whole different thing, they're going to end up at this thank you page. So everybody that arrives at this thank you page has given me their email address. Therefore, when I go to this page here, I'm going to put my little snippet on it so that Facebook knows that anybody who visited this page has given me a lead. So I'm going to put a little tracking code area. And then I'm going to paste it. Okay. And then I'm just going to hit save. From now on, it's asked me to fill some information in. From now on, when somebody visits my funnel here, they give me the email address. It's when they hit the thank you page, it's going to say they got a lead. And so I'm just going to tell Facebook that's what I want when I'm doing my ad. So let's go back to the ad. We've already created the pixel. Now that we have the pixel ready to go, the destination's a website because it's going to my website. But if you have an app or you want to do a messenger, they're totally different things. Mine's going to a website, which is my funnel, whatever it is that you have. Now it says choose an event. This is going to save me all the heartache in the world because Facebook's going to find these people. So, and these will be green once you have traffic, if people are coming through. I'm going to tell it to find me leads because I know that somebody visited my page, they gave me an email address, and they landed on that thank you page. And it fires off that event. Lead. That's it. That's all I really need to do for targeting, okay? It's the dirtiest secret in the industry. Facebook's gotten so good at this. Now, there's people are going to comment below whether you agree or disagree, or if you found this is way easier to do it this way. But in general, and if you're a beginner, this is definitely the easiest way to do it. Now, go ahead. If you got money to burn and you want to play around and find that you can beat Facebook, but the problem is that Facebook has so much more information about your customers than you do that it's hard to outbeat them. They're going to know who's going to fill this out. They want to give you that lead, so you spend more money. If you get no leads, then you spend no money with them. If you get a bunch of leads, then you might spend 10 grand, 50 grand a day with them. That's what they want. That's how they make a living. That's how Facebook makes money. They don't make money by people arguing. They make money by people watching ads and clicking on them, and people paying for ads. Really, is people paying for ads. So, but you can do things. So if you're doing like something that's targeted at seniors, you're not going to advertise to 18-year-olds. You might go to, I don't know, like 57 and older, whoever gets like a discount at a restaurant or the movie theater or whatever. And it's going to tell you how many people you can reach, 48 million people, whatever it is. You can choose the gender. You can choose men or women. They're going to, targeting expansion is automatically on. What this means is that they're going to extend the reach. So if you choose something that's really narrow, they're going to widen it for you because they know this is another thing. You might think that only this, and this group like something, but you can choose so many different things in here. You can just type something in like kids. Who likes kids? People like Abercrombie and kids. People that are interested in kids in general. So people who like stuff about kids, there's 29 million people it shows here. Okay. So now, and then it'll have suggestions for you. People are interested in childcare, whatever it is that you're trying to sell here. or to people, or what kind you want them to fill out. So it'll people beyond. So it'll tell you how much you can get for your budget, kind of, maybe less than 10 leads. This is kind of, they have no idea. They're just guessing. But your audience will get substantially smaller if you don't have the expand. This is how many people you want to reach for the 4 million. If you touch this, now I would test these. It's 48 because Facebook knows something that you don't. Okay. That's why I kind of like to leave this checked, especially when starting out. But you go ahead and refine as much as you like. But remember, the smaller the audience, the more it's going to cost to advertise. And the thinking is I don't waste money advertising to people who don't want to see something. That's kind of true. That could be true. You can also have more options here about languages and people. And so if you're advertising, you can advertise in different countries and just say English-speaking people, and then you'll probably get some cheaper traffic. Placement. Leave it at automatic for now, but you can choose manual placements. And the manual placements is, say, audience network, which is other people advertising on Facebook. They're kind of getting rid of that. You want to be on you want to be on Instagram and Facebook. You don't want to be on Instagram, uncheck it. You don't want to be on Messenger, uncheck it. Leave these on at first because you don't know, see where people get your conversions from, because you can look at the stats later and see where they're going to come from. There's all kinds of options here. Starting out, I would just leave it on automatic placements. Then you set what kind of schedule you want things to be on. You can set a start and end date if you want, or just keep running them. I like to look at things and run them. Leave everything kind of default in the beginning, and then you'll have a much easier time, at least for the first $5 or $10 you're going to spend. Then you go to making the ad. Okay, so maybe you want to make a page. So one of my pages. So if you need to advertise through a page. Creating a page is super easy. Just create a page. It's Google it, or Facebook just has a page, right? So if you're going to be selling things about kids' clothes or unicorns or kids' toys or whatever it is, you probably want to have a page that is aimed around kids' toys and kids' stuff, right? You don't want to have it be just your business of your advertising marketing company. No, you don't want to do that. You want to have something that looks familiar to people. If they do visit, it'll say the name on top of the ad. It'll have your little logo there. You just want to make sure it's associated with whatever you're selling. Now, I like to use images or videos, or you can test with it if you can do a carousel. The single image is just one picture. The carousel will have a bunch of pictures if you want to put a bunch of pictures in. Let's just start with single image or video. It's real easy to get in there. And you just go to add media, and you can add an image. And they actually have stock photos that you can choose from. So you just type in, and you want to sell unicorns or whatever it is. You can type in unicorns, and it's going to give you pictures of unicorns, or maybe you're doing a coffee shop thing or something. Okay. And this is frozen up on me for some reason. Great. Way to go, Facebook. Okay. I paused it because Facebook was being weird. So you can choose any picture, really. I like colorful things that stop people. You can make your own, whatever you want to do. But just to keep it simple, you can search whatever you want on here, but let's just use this, whatever this is. It should stand out because you want to get somebody to stop in your feed from scrolling. Okay, so we just chose some random picture. Facebook is being a weenie about this. It's kind of slow right now. It's not my internet, or is it? But make sure I say this is just Blue Day because it's the page that I had sitting there, but you want to have whatever it is associated with it. And you just type in what your text is going to be and blah, 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 blah. And it shows you where it shows up. Your headline should be something that stands out. Free Baba. Okay, you want to make sure that it shows something that explains to people. See, you want it to say exactly what it is in as little amount of words and how it benefits people. Now, the text is up here. One thing I do is I say, if I'm doing like unicorns, it'll be like, unicorn lovers. Okay, and I put something that calls out the group. That way I don't have to if I say who it's for, the ad, the people who want to see it will stop, and Facebook figures this out pretty quickly. So unicorn lovers, unicorns. free download. Tell them what they're going to get. Save money on unicorn free unicorn stuff. Save money on free unicorn stuff. And then you go in and describe. You can find Facebook has a ads library where you can find a bunch of competitor stuff. But you want to make sure whatever it is you're doing, you talk to your audience. You can't say, hey, fat guy, lose weight, because your ad will be banned. But you want to make sure you connect with whoever it is that you're targeting, and let them know what they're going to get, and then you kind of say why they need it. So it's free download so they can save money. Unicorn people get a free download, save money. And then after this, you type in describing what it is and why they might want it, things like that. And also rehash that in the headline. You can add stuff in the description right here, as much as you like or as little as you like, and you can put as long as you want in the text area too. Go into detail. The benefit of that is that when somebody looks at your ad and they click and they read the whole thing, by the time they get to your landing page doesn't need to sell as much. It's just like, especially if you're trying to, like, we're trying to capture an email submit right here, right? So we can remarket to these people for super cheap after this. We don't have to go back to Facebook to spend money to talk to these people for collecting their email. For God's sakes, collect the emails. So by the time they get the landing page, it's just going to say, get your free unicorn download to save money on unicorn stuff. They're already going to know when they get there, and they're just going to enter their email and then hit submit, and then try and sell them some unicorn stuff on the thank you page. Facebook's going to get people to go to see that part where you're trying to sell them, and now you have the email address as well. That's kind of the function of what I do. Look at the free training, comment below if you've got a different technique that you use, and discuss. I'll reply to your comment, and we'll talk about it. But this is basically how you want to do all the selling on this page, but you want to make sure the top of it sells the stuff. It tells who wants it, why do you want it, and why do you need it now. Always stick to that on your landing page. Stick to that in the headline. A lot of people will try a bunch of fancy words, and it doesn't even say what the people get. If somebody looks at your page and they can't look at it in 2 seconds and know why they're there and why they need to do something, they're going to leave. And that is a big marketing no-no. Learning that early really will save you a lot of headaches in the future. All your headaches. It could double the amount of people, the opt-in rate, which will double your profit. It could be the difference between losing money and making a lot of money. Simple thing like that. You can choose what it says on the bottom here, apply now, or whatever, download, get offer, learn more. You can have no button if you want, test different ads with, because you could have multiple ads, right? So you could test different words right there and see which ones do better. And you can add languages or translations. You already know what pixel you're doing. And this is where you put your landing page URL. And it's really that simple. Your ads made, you put whatever your your funnel pages or your website pages that they want to go to. And then you hit confirm, and then it goes to approval. You're done at that point. And we've already gone through all this stuff, the ad sets, the targeting, how smaller audiences. I just want to rehash some of this stuff. The smaller the audience, the more expensive it gets. I like to do wide audiences and just target for the conversion being pretty early. If you do a sale, sometimes it costs more to do that. You're better off getting people that want to look at the sales page, and because it's cheaper in the long run to get those people, and you get a wider net of people that you can advertise to. And it's always cheaper the more people you get able to show an ad to. You want to make sure that your page is congruent with the niche. Like I said, if you don't want to have like a hardware page if you're selling financial advice, right? Pretty straightforward, pretty common sense thing. Make your headline straight to the point. Who needs it? What do they get? And why do they need it? Let them know as soon as possible in the ad and as soon as possible on the landing page. That's about all you need to really put on there. Make sure you use the Facebook Pixel Guide for the pixel setup. I explained it to you. It's real easy. Paste it into the ClickFunnels. I showed you how to do that. You're good to go. place the event on the pages where you need them. If you're selling something and then they add to cart, you can add that add to cart little pixel snippet piece, and it'll do that. You can track just about anything you want. Okay, so then you just launch it. Check the stats, compare what works, what doesn't work, and then do more of what works. You don't need to make it more complicated than it needs to be. It isn't brain surgery. It's not rocket science. You're not trying to go to Mars and build a rocket to go to Mars. You're doing a Facebook ads. We just did about an hour's worth of learning, and this is all you need to know, and then you just get testing. Start low. Start at $5 a day. It's what I tell my clients, my students, $5 a day, $10 a day, until you figure out that you're making good landing pages and you're doing your targeting and setting everything up. Once you know that it's working and you get your email submits or you're getting a couple sales going, then you start cranking it up, and then just do more of what works. And also, don't do just one campaign with one ad and then spend $10 and say this doesn't work. You have the possibility to make a lot of money, and you need to test things. You don't, if you want to be a professional football player, which by the way is much harder, you don't just go to one practice when you're 12 years old and say, I don't know how to throw and catch a football or jump 2-3 feet in the air to catch. Therefore, I'm never going to do it again, right? No, you go to practice, you keep learning, you keep getting better. You don't play baseball, take 2 swings at the tee and T-ball, and then quit when you're 8 years old. You'll never play baseball, right? You go in there, you figure out what works, what doesn't work, stick with what works, and do more of what works, and you'll make money. Probably, right? Okay, I'm not saying everybody's going to make $1 million, but like anything in life, you just got to go and test. It's fun to test and make ads. It's fun to do all this, right? So please comment below. Let me know your experiences. Let me know if you think I'm full of shit. Anything you want, right? Tell me what you think about what your experience has been with Facebook, but this is the best way to do it. Facebook has made it a lot easier than it used to be. Like, subscribe to this, etc. I hope you will look at the other videos I have, a ton of free resources. I don't want to make this go over an hour, and I think we're right about that point. So look what I did. Within 1 hour, I feel like you can be a Facebook ads expert if you just implement this. Best of luck, and I'm looking forward to working with you guys and seeing you in the rest of my videos. Like and subscribe. Later.